Hi, folks. You are watching and listening to another edition of Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media. I'm Mike Morales here it's a little bit chilly in Southern California, sunny and chilly, and that gentleman out there is.
Skip Falconer, and it is a little chilly here in Southern California. I'm in Los Angeles.
Yep. I'm in the armpit of the San Gabriel Valley, and Skip and I, we were discussing off camera our new tequila. We're going to be tasting and dissecting this particular tequila. Bear with me because it's in a heavy box, and they did some really nice packaging on this. And you notice, Skip, I don't know about you, but you notice that they're starting to come more and more in these boxes.
Boxes, yeah, these nice boxes.
I've got like four other brands that sent me these in boxes, and they weigh a ton.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
This is nice.
Yeah, and the tequila is called Cambio, which in Spanish means change. So I'm gonna unveil mine, and I will tell you right now, I
have mine unveiled.
Yeah, I've had some, so I'm going to be real careful as to there you go. Okay. So let me put this down here somewhere. Let me pull out the wow, we're doing a Blanco. Why don't you let people know? They sent us this nice POS. What does it say about the Blanco, real briefly? Because I normally we like to taste the stuff and then give you all the stats and stories. But
let me put my glasses on here. It says we approached our Tequila Blanco with a higher set of standards, going beyond traditional expectations every step of the way. After Cambio's slow fermentation and distillation process, our tequila is aged in French oak wine barrels, giving the finished spirit a level of complexity and character unlike any other Blanco.
Well, yeah, that's for the reposado, right?
No, that's for the Blanco.
That's interesting that they're telling you that after Cambio's slow fermentation distillation process, our tequila is aged in French oak. Well, I would say aged if they're talking about the reposado, because that's all we got, the Blanco and the Repo.
Right.
That's interesting. Okay, well,
because the reposado is aged in a couple of barrels. When we get to that,
interesting. It says no. Okay, so they're claiming right here no additives, even though it is not a verified additive-free situation. Okay.
Yep.
I'm not going to go into the app or anything like that. You can read all about that stuff and my opinions on that on our Tequila Aficionado magazine in the September issue. But it says no additives ever. Barrel aged in French oak wine barrels.
Yes.
So that's interesting. So okay, so in this case, they're what they're calling it here, and if you see that right there, first of all, this is the label is agave paper, okay, and yeah, it says 100% a barrel fermented. Okay, it's confusing what they're saying. I'm going to assume it says método refinado. Refinado means refined. So if we take them at face value, they are resting it for a short amount of time before they call it a reposado, and then they pull it from the barrel.
Absolutely.
So I don't know about you, Skip, but do you see any? Well, I got bubbles. I got shampoo bubbles. Do you see any off color? Because
you know what, it does look a little to me, and I haven't poured it. I haven't had any yet.
Well, you know what? Let's just pour it.
Yeah.
And see what it looks like in the glass, okay? Because it's a little confusing what they're saying. If there are certain Blancos that are aged in barrels. And technically, that is considered what we called a Blanco Suave.
Suave, yes.
like remember you and I did in Spiro, the Blanco is moon, what, for the phases of the moon, right?
Yes,
And that's
lunar rested.
lunar rested. I mean, they're calling it all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I think there's a an organic tequila that we've done a tasting for that is all I forget the name of it right now, but it is also one of the first ones to actually say that it's lunar rested. It's through the cycle of the moon. But according to the normas, it's got to be pulled at a certain time before it's considered a full blown reposado. So yeah, it does look a little off color, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a reposado.
Is it that dark for you?
Yes, it is for me. Yeah,
You see, I've got
unless my lighting may be a little off.
I've got uh I the glass itself is not the recycled glass, so there's no green tinge to it. But I did notice it was kind of off color. It's not as bright and shiny as with some of the other blancos that we've had before.
Right,
So
right.
now, what kind of legs and tears are you getting?
Well, it's beaten up on the glass, and then they're kind of slow moving.
Yeah, they're slow moving. They're taking their own sweet time. But the legs and tears are fairly thick.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And yeah, it looks like it's going to have some decent body to it. So
Yeah.
let's see what we get on the nose, shall we?
Mm.
Oh, that's interesting. Right off the bat, I'm getting a lot of alcohol, though, aren't you?
I'm getting a lot of alcohol.
And there's like a bitter note to it. Um, maybe like a caramelized agave,
Yeah, it's
but
probably from that.
it's like bitter. Some people would call it smoke. There shouldn't be any smoke in this thing. Maybe you
Right.
know what? This is a barrel
It's probably from the French oak.
from the French oak. Now it's a French oak Chardonnay barrel. Okay, so it's French oak that held Chardonnay, which is a much
Ah.
lighter, it's a much lighter wine. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to have, that's what I smell. I smell a note of maybe it's a grape note or a barrel note of some sort.
Yeah. I do get some citrus.
It's not off-putting, but you have to really, if you don't know what you're looking for, if you didn't know what it was aged in, you'd go, that's a Blanco with kind of a there. I'm not getting agave notes, is what I'm telling you. I'm
Yeah.
getting more of the barrel note. Yeah,
Well, you know what?
plenty of
I'm
alcohol.
I'm getting some agave in the center.
Okay, good. Maybe because it's opening up for me. Because when I've had some, I mean, you saw my bottle, but I didn't have it in my glass where we dissect it. I was just kind of enjoying it to see what the big deal was. Sometimes you just got to sit with something if you're not sure, it takes about half a bottle to figure out, oh, wait a minute. You start putting the pieces together and sometimes you never do. Sometimes it just takes a while for it to open up. Yeah, I'm getting the fruitiness now that you were getting, but
Yeah.
it's still like a grapefruit. You know what I mean? Like like wine grapes. It's
Yes. Yeah.
it's not Highlands fruitiness from agave, and it's at the bottom of the glass is what I'm getting.
Right. Right.
Well, you want to dive in? You want to try it and see what we get on the?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Mm, 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 mm. Wow, that alcohol is really aggressive, though. That's my first pass, though. I have to say, but that alcohol has got a strong presence
Yeah, it does.
and a much stronger finish. You know what's funny is that it doesn't, the nose doesn't give that away. I thought it'd be
No,
a little softer.
you know what? I thought it would be too. It's a lot of pepper up front.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of pepper, almost the whole palate gets pepper, got to get pepper sprayed. So,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
but again, that's just my first pass. I'm gonna give it another try.
And it has a nice warm.
Yeah, it's a long finish.
Yeah,
You know, and that's interesting because these technically Blanco Suaves don't necessarily, the reason that they do that is one of the first ones to ever do it was Herradura years and years ago before Brown Forman bought it, and they had to petition the CRT to be able to put that on their label. It said Suave, because what they would do is that they would age it just for, and then pull it, just the Blanco, and pull it before they have to call it a reposado, because they're made in Amatitan. In that area, if you're familiar with that area, it's one of my favorite areas to be in, and one of my favorite areas where tequila comes from. And there's a distinctive flavor and hardiness that's different. It's very volcanic and very, some people will call it earthy, but it's not as earthy as in the tequila. It's just anything coming out of that valley is just a favorite of mine.
I get them.
So they would age it in a barrel.
I get a musty,
like a barrel must. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. I don't know. I'm gonna try to do it off my keyboard here, because I want to see what we're smelling in my hand, because it's confusing. Again, if you don't know what to look for, you're gonna have a problem. Okay, I get barrel, I get the mustiness you're talking about. That barrel's more prominent in the hand.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right. You're right. That's really weird, because there's no color in that Blanco, so it's not a it's not a Cristalino. We know that.
Right.
Wow, that wood really comes through on your hand, doesn't it?
It does.
I see where you were getting that mustiness. It started to open up a little bit, but
And it seems like it's all wood.
that's just it. I'm not getting any plant. You know, when you do this with a regular Blanco that hasn't been aged in a barrel, you get agave, you get citrus, you get baked agave, right?
Right, right.
This was like a reposado.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So let's give you the stats and stories about what we discovered. Now, Skip, you said something to me off camera. Tell me again the name of the distillery and where did you read that?
I read it online on their website.
On their website.
On their website.
Okay.
That's coming from El Llano.
El Llano. Okay. That's where I've got a problem, because on this bottle, it gives you a little bit. It's oh, you know what else too? This is a 46 ABV.
That's right.
This is a high proof Blanco. That would explain why they would put it in the barrel to round out the edges.
Okay, yes.
But it's still aggressive, right? We figured that out.
It is.
I hadn't even read the label. I mean, it's just one of those things where you pour. I like that they're using agave paper. It's really nice and tactile. It's very clever. It's 46 alcohol by volume. That tells you the harvest was in 2022. That's when they harvested these agave.
Right.
It says a modern take on a 500-year-old tradition. I have a problem with when they start using the word modern, because what they're telling you is that they're combining innovation with tradition, and there's certain keywords that I look for where I have a problem with. Okay. So it says on their website it comes from El Llano, correct?
Yeah, and then there's another portion to it.
And what does it say? Do you have the website up?
I don't.
Okay, just off the top of your head, what did it say?
Man, don't.
Okay, all right, that's cool. So the NOM number is 1605. All right. Let me just.
It's the distillery that off camera you discussed it. That was the name after.
Right. Okay. So El Llano is no longer El Llano, folks. According to the latest NOM list, the name of the company that probably bought El Llano is called Inulina Miel de Agave.
That's it.
Okay. Well, Inulina Miel de Agave is your first takeaway, your first giveaway. The only way it's inulin, by the way. That's just the Spanish word for inulin. And miel is, of course, honey, honey water, syrup. The only way you can make those, folks, is to have a diffuser. So the official name for El Llano, which looks to me like it doesn't exist anymore, is Inulina y Miel de Agave. And right now, the only tequila that I know that I've heard of that comes out of there is Key, which is interesting because Key came out of another distillery I'm familiar with. And some of these other ones, folks, you may have seen it before. Trujillo tequila, Mala Sangre, which may or may not. Querido is one that I have seen or heard of before. So
Esperanto.
I don't see it here.
Oh, okay.
On the latest NOM list, I don't see it. Okay. Now, if I look for Esperanto, let's see. Let's look for. I'll tell you what. El Llano is also a tequila. And it's not there. It cannot. It does not. When I put it in the search, it doesn't show up. So, what was the name of the one you mentioned? Esperanto.
Yeah,
it's not there either.
You know, my Spanish is terrible, man.
No, well, my English is worse. So anyway, folks, that it does 1605 does mention. In fact, it doesn't even mention. It doesn't. Oh, yeah, there it is. Cambio. I have a problem. I'm not sure who to believe, because they're building on a 500 years tradition. That's a problem. Now, Skip, bottom line, do we like it or do we not like it?
Well, I like it.
I like that we narrowed it down, that it's a high proof.
Yeah.
That apparently it's a Blanco Suave.
Right. There's a lot of wood in here, though.
Yeah, there's a ton of wood in it. A ton. And you can't, and I'm not getting agave.
Yeah.
So that could be two reasons. One, that barrel was, Chardonnay barrel. I get it, but you and I have had stuff like, like I think in Spiro, wasn't it aged in a Pinot Noir barrel? And
yes,
but it's a little bit pinker. It's a much lighter pink. It's different.
Right.
It's a lot fruitier than you would expect. But
that's the that's Reposado also. That's the Reposa.
Right, exactly. This
Yeah.
one,
This is the Blanco.
this is the Blanco, and it smells like a reposado. It smells like a reposado, folks.
Yeah.
I still smell barrel.
All day. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, great barrel, or it could be that they're trying to mask something that they're doing, because again, the name of the company, Inulina y Miel de Agave. All right. So whatever they're building on that 500-year tradition, they're building it on top of a diffuser, in my opinion. Now, does it taste like a diffuser? No,
No.
but I wasn't getting agave. I got the fruitiness you mentioned,
Yeah.
but you know, it's sus to me. All right, as the kids are saying, it's a little sus. Let me try. Let's try one more, shall we? Now, what about you? Are you finishing dry? It's dry, isn't it?
It's really dry. Yes.
It's kind of like the barrel, like the wine. The wine will do that to you. The wine.
Right. Right.
Let's dive in again. Mm. 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 To be honest, I didn't read any of the POS. I didn't read it, the card. All I did was pour and enjoy. And there was something off-putting. I didn't know what it was until now. It all makes sense to me.
The sweetness now comes in the rear.
Yeah, now that we've had like two or three passes, it comes.
There's a sweetness. There's a sweetness that it goes in. It goes in peppery,
Right.
and it turns sweet in the back end.
Still, it's got a long finish.
It does.
Now, if this was being made with a diffuser, this is the first high-proof diffuser tequila I've had, which is a surprise. I don't know why they're not doing more of it, because I gotta say, for a diffuser tequila, it's got way more character than I expected. But the character's one-sided to me. It like you said, it's all pepper.
Yeah.
Anything additional as far as layers is coming from the barrel.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think it's brand of promise worthy for what it is, or?
I think for sure for packaging.
Well, yeah, the packaging will go there. I'll agree with you there for packaging. Are you? I'll tell you what. Do you want to hold off until we have the reposado and before you give me your opinion? Because honestly, there's too many questions for me.
There are a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions for it to be a brand of promise for.
Yeah, I think so too. You know what? Let's call this what it is, and I want to get into the reposado. I do, because I want to see what the difference is, and what they've done. It's interesting that you mentioned El Llano, because El Llano was a very popular tequila.
Yeah, they said on the website it was one of the oldest distilleries.
Well, I don't live there, so sometimes I don't necessarily get the news right away.
Yeah,
it's obviously an existing nom that the name had been changed. New investors. Yeah, it's still now I'm getting like wood and little fruit, a little wine. But it's all barrel, man.
It's all barrel.
There.
It's all barrel. It's all barrel.
Okay, well, you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, that's our take on Cambio. They're calling it change for a reason. This is método. It says método refinado, so they're refining it, supposedly. You know, for a barrel aged tequila, it's not as soft as I thought it would be.
No,
I'm very shocked that it's as aggressive as a Blanco at 46. You know?
it's very aggressive.
Yeah, not for the faint-hearted, and like Skip said, lots of pepper, lots of pepper. But that's our take on Cambio Blanco. If you folks have had it and you're doing something with it, what are you doing? What are you paying for it? What's your do we have a price point in this, by the way?
$50.
Really?
I saw $50 for the Blanco.
That's not bad
No,
for a high proof Blanco. That's actually, you know,
pretty good.
well, yeah, especially if you're making it with a diffuser, because you know that's all profit, and you're still coming in at that. You know, I don't know, folks. But the name really gives it away. I'm telling you, that's your telltale sign. You're playing poker with somebody who says inulina y miel. Let's see, how do we make that? Let's find out. Are they making this way? Oh no, they're probably not. All right, whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I buy it. Okay, but that's our take. If you buy it, tell us what you're paying for it, where you're getting it, what you're doing with it. Are you mixing it? Are you putting it in a? Not. I would put this in a cocktail, frankly.
I will put it in a cocktail.
Yeah, and probably a really good Paloma, right?
Paloma or maybe a Mexican mule.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah, because it's going to shine through. It's aggressive enough. It's gonna.
Yeah.
It's not going to get lost in the ingredients. I'm just. It's got a ton of bubbles.
It does.
And I have a theory about that, but I'll discuss that off camera. Anyway, I'm Mike Morales here in the San Gabriel Valley of Southern California. That guy out there is
Skip Falconer in Los Angeles, California.
You folks have been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Hit the notification bell. Give us a like, please. Leave us a comment. We're actually gonna get better and better at answering your comments much sooner than later, like we have been. But folks, whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.